It's neat that it's like on the nose.
It is. What's up, guys? I'm Marcus.
And I'm Jay.
And we are
the Brew Guys.
And I'm so excited. We finally got some full earth.
Marcus is excited.
What a pain in the butt to try to get.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. In years past, this was not difficult.
No.
Greenstone wasn't difficult.
No.
So
Card
if you're
horse
familiar,
or whatever they want to call it.
Card horse, yep. If you're familiar with Old Nation is just outside of Lansing. They call it Williamston, the small burg of Williamston. Nice area. I think they have a very nice brewery.
Oh, it's fantastic. I've been there numerous times.
I've been in. It's been a long time. I don't think they were quite as big as they are now. If you don't know, I would say their flagship or their thing that's made them famous is M43, correct?
And Boss Tweed.
And Boss Tweed, definitely. M43, I don't know if it's nationwide, but it's certainly out there.
Everybody knows about it. Because when I got into the beer trading a couple years ago, that was the first thing everybody asked me.
Do you have an M43?
Can you get M43 or transient?
Yes. So M43 is an IPA, and this is
a New England IPA.
It isn't any IPA, and it's probably one of the, if not the best. And going back a few years, there's probably some that have caught up now. It was probably the first and the best Midwest-produced New England IPA.
I agree. We only had two that were actual NE IPAs.
Correct.
M43 was one. Juices Loose was the other. From Transient.
That's right. And great memory. And Tapestry has caught up very quickly because they basically
have to be there across the street from Transient.
Tapestry did a really good one.
Incentive right there.
They also, and I think that actually started their Reactor series, the one that has a reactor in it. So Old Nation around here is kind of gospel. When you don't know what to get, you grab something from Old Nation. Even their B43, which is a fruited version of M43.
It's the best brute I've had.
It's probably the best brute I've had too. We've been struggling to do a brute series.
There's just not a lot of good options.
They're coming up. There's a few now. It's just hard for us to pick a few and put it into like a less than 20-minute video and not just.
Which we already clearly suck at.
Right. We're not good at like short videos already. And then on top of it, to try to show you what's out there for brutes, and it's really going to be more what we can get in Michigan. So, brutes are hard. I have to be in the mood for one too.
You gotta be in the mood for one.
And I understand they have a great place for certain folks. So, but in this case, Full Earth is in fact.
It's a double.
It is a double. So we whether we're accurate or not, we always say it kind of falls between M43, Boss Tweed. Card Horse, which was a Greenstone. This is a green label too, right? So is that part of the Greenstone
series? The New Orthodox.
Yeah. So the New Orthodox series all has this basic white label.
M43, B43 now, Boss Tweed.
Yeah.
Full Earth.
But not.
Which used to be Greenstone, I believe.
Correct.
No, Greenstone was a pale ale. That was the only one that was a pale ale. And then Card Horse, which was before it was called Boxer. But they had to change the name.
They've had some name. I don't know if they have name issues.
So there's like 5 or 6 beers in the series.
I will say I love the owner. He's a very, very great guy. Very nice to everybody he talks to. Yeah, I know you've had conversations.
Very appreciative.
Very appreciative of what he's able to do.
They were this close to bankruptcy 4 years ago.
But
this close.
Was that when they hit their low?
It was this
4
close.
years ago. Yeah.
I believe they worked on the M43 recipe for like 2 or 3 years before he finally got it right.
Yeah.
And it saved their brewery.
And that's a rough thing to try to save with. I mean, if you're going to hit something, try to find a new niche rather than trying to keep up with places like Treehouse that invented the style and things like that.
It's almost like he hit the lottery.
Right. I think honestly, I got to be honest with you. I think his whole attitude is good. I think the way he runs things, it's different. It's odd that it's different, but the can styles, and we talk a lot about can art and how beautiful people hire artists and have all these beautiful cans that we love, and he has stuck religiously to this
is us.
Parchment and black label. Even the more, I think even the B43 is just a reverse. It's black.
Just black with white trim. Yep.
And you know, you have to stay true to yourself to a degree.
I like it.
And I think you can always spot this. That's one thing I will say. You will never.
It's funny. I was just going to say that you can almost now that everything is so flashy that now this type of can is the one that sticks out.
No question. Completely agree. You look at some of the. God, my chair's breaking. You look at some of these. They're beautiful. I mean, but this will always just kind of be different.
And yeah, you're like
this is the green again. This
you're like, oh, there's Full Earth. There's M43.
Right. and that's exactly what happened. We were trying to find this for a while, having some issues, had to call in some favors. I think we got the last 4-pack that was in Ann Arbor.
It sucks being essential again because I can't just drive around and buy beer whenever I want.
Yeah, you can't just wander. You can't wander.
Williamson isn't far.
Williamson is not far.
Far enough that you can't just run out real quick and run back in.
Right. Another thing that I do like about, before we get too crazy, one thing I do like about Old Nation in general and this New Orthodox series, and I like when a lot of places do this. I'm okay with you keeping your secrets. I don't need to know what your grain bill is. It's fine. I'm not going to try. There's a lot of people out there. There's a whole culture of people that are trying to brew clones of these beers to see if they could make it more the way they want or just be exactly the same. And it's a cool hobby, I guess. But one thing I do love is that on their cans, right here on this one, 9.1 alcohol by volume. Great to know. That's a nice heavy double. IBU 50. I love to see the IBU. I wish everybody would put the IBU on there. Because then
IBU for a
if
double, that's going to be
right.
fantastic.
If you learn the IBU scale, which please go learn the IBU scale. Maybe we'll do a video on IBUs and what they mean. It will help you buy good beer. It will. It will absolutely. It's a great piece of education. Here's the stuff that I really like when I'm getting to. Their malt grain bill has Pilsner, wheat, oat, and rice. So super soft. Super soft. It even gives you your boil hops. Magnum, Citra, and Azacca. Azacca is a really neat strain of hops. If you haven't done your research on some of your hops, that's a great, neat one. I mean, Founders even did an entire beer dedicated to Azacca.
I miss it. I haven't seen it in a while.
It hasn't been in a while. And then they dry hop with Azacca and Eucanote, or Eucano, depending on how you say it. Both fantastic. I mean, the fact that we have that much information right there in front of us, this is going to give somebody who's learning craft beer or hasn't had this beer, I can pick this up and say whether I'm going to like it or not.
Let's start judging.
Let's do it. We're going to go off the cuff here.
Oh, sweet.
So I'm going to calculate.
Jesus.
I'm going to do our calculations for Untapped, kind of off to the side. I do want to give a shout out to our somewhat new label. We're beta testing. Let us know if you hate it or love it. We're trying to get a little fancy. Beautiful, beautiful color.
Oh, this
is what you want.
So good.
Would you say that's what you want from an any IPA?
This is just juicy.
Of any kind.
I'm already drooling.
Right. So a double IPA. Now, I will say also they do a good job with their descriptions. They're not calling this an any IPA. So, with saying that, it says on here, haze is good. Are you going to call this an any IPA after you drink it, you think? Yeah. But they don't call it that. Why?
They don't need to.
Because they don't need to, that's right. I agree. I think this is a...
They don't care so much about this. They care about what's in that.
I have to agree. They're it's an almost counterculture idea of we're going to put our stuff in plain labels, and we can get into later. There's another company that I think is doing that as well. And it's kind of interesting how counterculture happens. You have these people that spend all this time and money on these cans and the beautification of it, and some of them are just unbelievable. Anybody's had the Slushy series knows their cans are, they're like anime.
Yeah, they are.
And then, so now, if that becomes the norm, then the counterculture would be, I'm going to put a brown label on it and tell you what's in it.
Sure.
I'm going to give this one a sniff real quick.
Oh.
And it's just unbelievable. I mean, you cannot know... I don't know. Somebody please tell me how to say Eucanaut. I know it's a
Eucanaut.
Pack. I know it's a Pack North.
Eucanaut.
Yeah, it's a Pack North.
It almost seems like it's.
It sticks out to me. I think it's one of the hops that sticks. It is. It has. It's so juicy, and with those two hops, The Azacca, I don't know if it comes through on the nose as much, because it's a very particular hop. Just unbelievable clear haze, unbelievable color. The smell is off the charts.
It's fantastic.
Let's drink this. Let's drink it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, right away, acidic, juicy, a little bit of funk.
Oh, it just makes my mouth happy.
So much body, so much mouthfeel.
If you put
this doesn't disappoint.
If you put a brown wrapper over this and didn't show anybody what it was, just poured it in there and you're drinking, like, where do you think this is from? You're gonna get.
All right.
You're gonna get Treehouse. You're gonna get Trillium. You're gonna get Monkish. It's up. It's with those beers.
I think they substitute acidity and mouthfeel for the softness of Treehouse, though. Mm-hmm. I think that's the only thing I could pick apart. Not pick apart, but I could tell the difference. If you put a Treehouse here, I'm going to know that super, super soft mouthfeel is the Treehouse, and I'm going to know that this is Old Nation because of that acidity.
That's fair.
And that mouthfeel. I like it because it's almost heavy. The brightness comes through, but you almost want it to be heavy. Like, you want this to be a treat. Yeah, it's fantastic. Since you brought up if you put over brown...
Where's the spreadsheet? What the fudge is going on here?
I told them I'm going to do it in the background. I'll put our score up. But I just thought this was a treat. So
it's just weird.
I know it is weird. Not doing the technical stuff.
That's fine. Then we're going to do something different for this.
We'll just give it a check-in.
I'm going to do something totally different. I'm not going to tell you what it is until we are at the end.
All right.
When we give it our final rating, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to rate this beer.
I'm down. When you said, let's put a brown paper over this, not know what it is, okay? Mm-hmm. So there's a company that's kind of doing that. And I'm not going to judge that. I typically don't judge well against the seltzer producers. I think there's a market for it. I totally get you want to go to some great brewery and have a double, and then your wife wants to have a seltzer because that's more her style or something like that. Mm-hmm. The hop seltzers, the over-fruited seltzers that are coming out. It's a thing. It is a thing. No,
for sure.
Very interestingly enough, and you've probably seen this in the groups as well, because we bounce around quite a bit. Have you seen the almost completely blank Holmes cans that are seltzers?
I have.
Okay. Now they have a name for it, and so this is. I think they'll have everything released by then, but they have, and it's a really weird name. It's like Troubadour.
Yeah, Troubadour. That's weird.
It's something really strange.
Like
and it probably has some great meaning, but they're just silver, I believe, ball cans. I believe they're ball brand. And they just have like a laser printed name on them. I don't think they'll keep it that way. I think they're going to go to their full art form like they have with other ones. I think that's
who knows though, because that could be their distinguisher. This is our beer. This is our seltzer.
Yeah. So the thing is though, that's the counterculture. You're like beta testing, right? Mm-hmm. So is that the counterculture, or do you go? If you were running it, if you were the gentleman, Al, Christian, the guys that work there, awesome human beings. Do you stick with that, or do you stay true to you and say we're going to art these up? Because, and I'm not judgment. There's going to be a lot of athletes, people who work out, a lot of women that really want that seltzer because they don't necessarily want a huge amount of heaviness and calories. Great niche market, but do you keep it plain and stay counterculture, or do you go right where you know where you're going to go and hit the artwork?
If I had my own brewery,
that would be fun.
If I had my own brewery, I think right now I would almost do the opposite. If I have this beer, I have some of Holmes beers, I think I let the beer speak for myself.
Sure.
I don't need all the craziness. But I think I throw it on the seltzer because it's more diverse beer. It's not. They're looking for a specific group, right? And it's just starting to get popular, so I think that's what needs the eye candy.
Right.
Like, hey, bam, 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 look at these. Like, oh my God, it's a seltzer. I better try this. Looks really cool.
And the only thing, and to that point, the only thing I would ever say and you've seen some of the full color, so Old Nation does also non-New Orthodox series. What's the one I like that's brown? They have a brown that's bloody fantastic.
The Electro Brown.
Electron Brown, you're
Electron
right.
Brown.
That one has a great label. The one thing I will
It's
say...
got the fighter pilot guy on it.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great label. Don't change this.
No.
Don't change this. We like the parchment. We like that. We like the series, and we like that they're recurring. We like
Quite
that we
honestly,
can look forward
I
to
think
it.
the more that you're actually into beer, the more you want this.
Absolutely, there's no question. Because
The more you're
you
getting
feel
into
like-
beer,
yeah.
the more you want this. You want like, oh.
it brings something to it. I don't disagree.
When I bring this into my buddies, look at this sweet can I brought.
Yeah.
And then you get to real beer drinkers.
You'll
and
see
you're
the
like,
guys that have
they're like,
like,
awesome, what's in it? And you're like, oh, well,
Right.
this is in it.
And to your point, I mean, you look at how excited somebody who's been in craft beer for a while. Like I said, if you bring a
I'm
custom,
excited for this.
Right. Well, think about a custom crowler. If you go get a crowler, it's going to have a plain label, pre-made, maybe even handwritten on there what's in it,
Yeah,
and
that's
some
how they
basic
do it.
information, right? So it has that style to it, and I get stupid excited when I see those because I'm like, oh, it was something that's not distributed. It wasn't.
This
out
is
in
only
cans.
for me.
This is just something you went and you said I need a crowler for my friends, and that's a huge thing.
I did that
It's
last
the
year
sharing.
with the double dry hopped
You
M43
did?
I brought you. And
You
it
did?
was, oh,
God, that was good. Yeah, some of those are. That's a really good point. You know, there's some je ne sais quoi to the I would call it like a bootleg style.
Oh.
You know, you're gonna get really excited about like somebody. Oh, I got this CD of the Grateful Dead from whatever, and it's just some garbage looking thing, and it sounds amazing, right? Same kind of idea. You have.
I don't care about the outside. I care about the inside.
I like both. I think there's a place for it. I think
There is.
I think if you're gonna say this is a distro beer, and part of our deal is the art, and if you're just gonna be, we are more of a, I don't want to use the wrong term. We're more of a backyard brewing for the sake of brewing type of place, and we don't care what it looks like. Take it home with you and enjoy it with your friends. I think that means a lot too.
I think the fancy cans are to make you stick out in the market.
Absolutely, it's a marketing
I
thing.
think the flat can with just your information is for the people that know beer. They know that we don't need that to buy that beer.
It's actually a great question.
Tell us what's in there,
So,
and I'll tell you if I like it.
I'd love to hear from anybody watching if they think that this kind of label makes you more apt to purchase it or less based on your experience. I think that would be a great thing to look into because, again, we can spot Old Nation from a mile away, and for a good reason. So, I don't think there's too much you can say bad about this one.
No.
What would you give this one?
So
let's
change this up. Let's just be a little different right here.
I'm
Okay.
good with it. Let's do it.
So
I don't have a lot of beer left, but go ahead.
So I'm gonna have you rate this. I know one of the things you enjoyed growing up was football, non-American football.
Non-American football.
Soccer.
Yes, absolutely.
So if this was a soccer player, who would you compare it to?
One would want to say Messi. I would go with.
That high, huh?
I would go with.
I don't know soccer, but I know his name.
Everybody
so that's
knows
up there.
it, yeah. I would go with Juan Mata, probably. Mata is just everything you want from a coach, he's just what you want. He's not, you don't...
That's all you need to say
yeah,
right there.
he's what you want. You feel like when somebody says, oh, Juan Mata has a contract for this much, you're not going to be like, well, that's just ridiculous. I'm going to break this goddamn chair. You don't think it's crazy, right? Somebody hears a name like Pogba and his huge contract and things like that. Juan Mata just gets you what you need. The numbers, the audience, it's what you want. So that's my comparison.
So as I was growing up, while I loved all sports, obviously, me and my cousins were huge into WWF.
Which now WWE.
WWE now.
Right.
So I had to compare this to somebody growing up that I'm going to give this beer.
I mean, how far back?
I would call this beer Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
Woo! Because you know what? It does. I drink it and it makes me happy. I want to give it 2 claps and a woo!
I like, I did watch some wrestling because it was on, was it Sunday or is it Friday night?
Oh, it was all over the place.
Yeah.
There was
There was
Friday
one night-
night,
there was one night there was like-
Sunday, there was Saturday,
before Raw.
WCW was on Saturdays. Oh.
I remember like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, those guys.
He's PBR.
He's PBR for sure.
He's
with
PBR.
the overalls and the whole deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably a good, right color, good hair, right? Good hair.
It's straw colored. It's fancy.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's what you want. Absolutely, it's what you want.
It's entertaining to me, and it's delicious.
Perfect, right?
So,
right.
How was that? That's a new
it's
thing.
Perfect. I'm going to, just for the record, we'll average this out since we're not using a spreadsheet today. We'll be different. I'm gonna check this in at a 475.
I would as well.
Okay.
Well,
at least we'll know what this will, when it comes out, that this will be averaged out at a 475.
Or Ric Flair, or a guy that he said that I've never heard of.
What?
Your soccer guy.
Oh, Juan Mazza. Oh, phenomenal.
I have no clue who that
it's
guy
okay.
is. But if he's compared to this, he must be pretty good.
All right, so 4.75 multiplied times 20. That makes this a 95 on our spreadsheet.
Oh, I would have. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just.
I'd say
just
it's definitely in the 90 to 95 range for sure.
I'm not disappointed in any portion of it. So, awesome. Full Earth. It's been a good one.
If you can find it, get it.
Get it.
Good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers.